John Harwood. Now let's bring in one of Donald Trump's lead supporters and see what he'll be listening in for tonight from tonight's debate. Foster Friess joins us. He's founder and chairman of Friess Associates. But longtime viewers of CNBC will know that Mr. Friess has been a guest for many years on CNBC because he had a long-time role in asset management. Good to have you here again, Mr. Friess.
Michelle, I'm Foster. Mr. Friess is my dad's name.
Okay, Foster, I'll take your point. You just heard what John was saying about the polls here. What can Donald Trump do tonight, if anything, to turn it around?
Well, it's pretty simple, actually, if he can just concentrate on the issues. For example, Hillary Clinton at the end of the last debate said she wanted to arm the Kurds. Well, I sat next to the key guy in charge of Iraq and said the State Department's policy is that we have a one Iraq policy, and we don't want to arm the Kurds for fear that they'll secede and become more independent. So I went to Camp Black Tiger, the Peshmerga camp on the ISIS front lines, and I promise you, they're not getting the simplest things. They don't have night goggles. The bad guys are throwing grenades into the bunkers at night. They don't have the ability to defuse. And so I believe for her to say she's arming the Kurds, the question is, why aren't they armed?
But can Donald Trump stick to those topics tonight, do you think? Can he really focus the debate on those issues?
I think he. Another one is, what about health care? We let the left use these fancy-sounding terms like public option, single-payer system. Some people believe the whole thing was designed to implode so they could move to the public system and people in desperation would embrace it. But if you look at another way of phrasing it, why would we want to take the private health care system and convert it to government control, which is epitomized by the three entities of government control? Is one, the accessibility reflected in the Phoenix Veterans Administration hospitals; two, the military, where you get no choice; and three, the Indian health care system is run by the government. And I have not heard of a 747 arriving from Saudi Arabia to get a heart transplant. So I think the American public have a lot at stake here to make sure we can maintain the health care system and stave off the government takeover. So that's another subject that he could hit very hard.
We've known each other a long time. I know you are a deeply spiritual person. The tape where you listen to what Donald Trump said about women, how do you defend Donald Trump?
Well, you don't. You don't. See, I tell you, it deeply hurts me to see how far our country has drifted from the Judeo-Christian value system on which our country is founded. The whole beauty of what Jesus said is forgiveness. That was one of the key things he came for. And for we to have a society that digs up something 11 years ago for which he's expressed regret and then play it again and again and again, that's hardly, I think, what our nation wants. And people say, why aren't good people running? Why aren't good people? Everybody knows if you don't have something bad in the background, the other side will come up with something. And it happens both Republican and Democrat. So I believe when I saw that, my heart went out to our country, because I remember David Brinkley was part of our Wednesday luncheon group in Jackson. He said the press knew, they knew that Franklin Roosevelt was having an affair with Lucy Rutherford, and also they knew with Margaret LaHand. But they hid it. They hid it from the public because they did not want to diminish the role of the president. And to see how far our country has migrated from those Judeo-Christian values, we've got to get back to those. This is a nasty environment.
Times are very, very different. Foster Friess, thanks so much for joining us.
Michelle, it's nice to be with you always. Hope we see you soon. God bless.